Stay back.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. This will be my full Boys Gen V Episode 8 finale video. There are a whole bunch of Easter eggs and references, so we'll break it all down, and some teasers for The Boys Season 4. It was meant to directly set up Season 4, especially with a lot of the cameos. If you're brand new to the channel, I'll be doing videos for all The Boys Season 4 episodes too. And they revealed they renewed Gen V for Season 2. They're calling it sophomore year, so to speak, because they'll continue to be in school, basically, with probably a few changes because of the way they ended the episode. So, of course, we'll break it all down. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. We'll just start at the beginning and work our way through shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs, WTF moments. Starting with the episode title, The Guardians of Godolkin, which is a reference to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, and the team name that Vought came up with for Marie back when she took credit for stopping Golden Boy, when really it was Jordan who did it, and even then Golden Boy kind of killed himself. At the end of the episode, she also used the name verbally when she was talking to Andre, like, come on, let's all take credit for taking care of all this, even though Vought completely spun things the opposite way, saying that they were the ones that killed everybody on campus, and Kate and Sam were the ones that tried to save everyone, and they're the real Guardians of Godolkin. Just more of Vought's spin machine, like Homelander watching the monitors, the aftermath, kind of laughing, smiling to himself, like, see how we swept that under the rug. Nobody knows about what happened with the Woods. That was the whole point in their big cover-up, is just preventing knowledge of the Woods from getting out. The episode was probably one of the shortest ones of the season, like it was just a little over 30 minutes, which is a big surprise. Usually finales wind up being some of the longer episodes in series. During the episode, the Scooby Gang winds up splitting in two because of Kate's actions. She goes full Emma Frost, White Queen of the Hellfire Club, goes a little crazy too, and frees everyone in the Woods using her powers to sort of rampage on campus, basically tearing the place apart. With the help of Sam, who's been radicalized because of what happened at Victoria Newman's rally in the Soup Lives Matter movement at the college. Thank you very much, Rufus. He's a little bit like Peacemaker from the DC universe in that he'll believe pretty much anything anybody tells him or anything that he sees or reads just because his mind has been so fractured and he's been kept in captivity for so long. So basically, Marie and the others become the Guardians of Godolkin, living up to the fake name Vought was using, saving Ashley, everyone else, until Homelander can show up and shut everything down on a dime in 10 seconds flat. Like he went full Mace Windu on them.
This party's over.
A lot of the episode was dedicated to setting up The Boys Season 4, which will premiere next year. That's what all the cameos were for in the last few episodes in the superhero virus storyline. Like Victoria Newman still has that, and nobody knows that she has it at the end of episode 7. She'll probably try to use that to her benefit some way on the DL during Season 4. My early theory, though, and I said this before, is that I don't think that it will be powerful enough to actually kill Homelander. Like, she might wind up trying to use that against Homelander at some point, in addition to other superheroes, and it'll probably kill them, but it probably will not be enough for Homelander. Like, that's how powerful he's meant to be. Although we did just get the Invincible Season 2 Episode 1 premiere video, a lot of people asking, like, who would win in a fight, Omni-Man or Homelander? And they all agreed, like, the people that make the Invincible, Robert Kirkman, the people that make The Boys, agreed that Omni-Man would wreck Homelander. Like, he's way more powerful. What a coincidence that both of the characters are now playable in the new Mortal Kombat game, so you could actually do that matchup. And because they renewed the show, just in general for Season 2, they kind of teased that during the ending of the episode. They'll address what happens to them next during Season 2. Ashley did temporarily vote Marie into the 7, but it sounds like she took that back because of the way they spun the news at the end of the episode. Like, for a hot second, she might have cameoed during The Boys Season 4 had she still been on the 7, but I think now the idea is that they put Kate and Sam on track for the 7, but probably not yet. Like, they're a little too crazy to actually bring them on the 7. Homelander probably doesn't want to deal with them. So that's why I don't think we're going to see too many of these Gen V characters until Gen V Season 2. They basically stuff all the survivors, the Guardians of Godolkin, down in that deep, dark hole, which is where they put people that they don't want to deal with or that they have trouble dealing with, but they don't want to kill or they can't kill. Like, they were giving them medical attention. Even Emma had a smoothie, so like they're actually trying to keep them alive. But notice there are no doors, there's just a hatch, so literally it's kind of like a hole. During the actual opening scene, the episode starts right after the ending of episode 7 with Kate using her powers to force the Dean to reveal her plan about the weapon and kill herself. So RIP, she was kind of a dirtbag, so I don't think there were a lot of tears that were shed when she died, which is the case for a lot of the deaths during this episode, and there were many. Most of the people that died were all terrible people. Some of the deaths were more spectacular than others, though. But the whole idea is that Kate stopped taking her medication, which had been dampening her powers. It also sounds like it affects the duration of how many times or how frequently she can use her powers, because during the episode, she still winds up having to touch people to actually control their minds. But basically, all of her recent trauma she's experienced has caused her to snap mentally, and she decides to destroy the woods. Then eventually they decide to destroy the school itself. With Sam's help, as I said, who barely understands what's actually going on, like, he starts to get the ramifications and he starts hallucinating his brother, which is basically a representation of his own consciousness, like he's talking to himself until later in the episode when he just has Kate basically turn that part of his mind off, basically having her put the mute button on his conscience. For a little while, though, it does seem like he's a little confused, like, no, we have to stop Vought, we have to stop all this, or they'll capture us and they'll hurt you. I need to be the superhero now, I need to rescue everyone, whereas you rescued me previously. But then he kind of 180s on Emma later in the episode, and they kind of have their version of a breakup. Basically, the dichotomy here, if we're making X-Men Marvel references, is the Brotherhood of Mutants, like Magneto's Brotherhood of Mutants, versus Professor X in the traditional X-Men. All the Guardians of Godolkin would be like Professor Xavier's X-Men, like the good characters that don't want to kill a bunch of people. Kate being the side of the Brotherhood of Mutants who hate all humans, particularly the people at Vought, and also believe superheroes, or mutants if we're talking about Marvel references here, to be superior to regular humans, which is a very Homelander kind of belief that she has. That becomes a much bigger thing at the end of the episode, and one of the reasons why he gets so pissed off at Marie, like, why are you attacking your own kind?
What kind of animal are you? Do you like attacking your own kind?
Because he said that in previous seasons before too, like he's even referred to humans in the Harry Potter kind of way, calling them mudbloods. The only difference between Homelander's beliefs and what Kate is talking about is that he believes that superheroes are superior to humans, but he doesn't want to kill all humans, like Magneto, for instance. He wants everyone to worship him like a god, and they can't do that if they're dead. Andre's father, Polarity, basically tells him that he's going to take the mantle and wear the suit, becoming the new Polarity, and that he's going to toe the line for Vought and just do whatever they say, because it brings their family so much money, and now that his father can't really use his powers, at least he kind of understands that he can't use his powers or he'll die, he has to become the new breadwinner for the family inside Vought. They also clarify what really happened with his father, like he's having seizures because of his powers started to create tears in his brain tissue that they cannot heal. Somebody get a superhero with healing powers on the line, like somebody with a healing factor. My only issue with this part of the story is that healing powers are super common, and there are thousands of superheroes out there. Why not just eventually find a superhero that can heal that damage? Basically, the same thing is happening to Andre. The more he uses his power, the more it creates micro tears in his brain. He eventually causes himself to pass out later in the episode too, because he uses his power so many times. The only saving grace is that he hasn't been using his powers for nearly as long as his father, so he has a little bit longer before things get as bad for him. But also, he has to stop using his powers so much. If it wasn't clear, the hospital that they're in right here is Vought Tower. That's where they treat all their superheroes, so they can keep everything quiet. But they'll also continue this whole storyline with the micro tears in his brain becoming a problem during season 2. They don't really cover that for the rest of the episode, but you do see him pass out. Like, oh, that's probably why he passed out. Then we get our second Ashley cameo during the season. She appeared earlier during this season, complaining about missing her farm-to-table sex party, which is kind of like another version of Herogasm she was going to attend because the college is starting to lose a lot of money. They want to do a big PR stunt to get people excited about the college again, and they think that putting one of the kids on the 7 will do that. Notice they do not care about who's the most qualified, like who be the best actual superhero. They just want somebody with the highest social media stats that people will like, that will cause the public to spend way more money on the college. Like more people want to come to the college and spend money on tuition. More people will give them money during their fundraisers. So when they nominate Andre first, I think the idea is that if his father had been there, he could have advocated for him and Andre would have been put on the 7. There are a couple of jokes later in the episode too, like they go to Maverick, like who better to fill the hole left by Translucent than Translucent's son? But then Ashley puts the kibosh on that because of all of his kinks. Like if he's weird like his father, if he has all those weird kinks, it's going to be too much trouble. Earlier during the season, Maverick said he basically did the same thing that his father did, hiding in bathrooms, but both men's and women's bathrooms to watch people. So even though we're not kink shaming here, he basically had all the same vices, did all the same terrible things that his father did. Even though in reality, when Kate wasn't mind controlling him, he seems like a totally chill dude. Then she decides to put Marie on the 7, like she's like the next person on the list, like, hey, you get to join the 7 if you kill all the people that are rioting right now. Again, big reminder that Ashley doesn't actually care who they put on the 7, it's just a big PR stunt. And basically, by the end of the episode, it sounds like they rescinded that offer. Like, Ashley's like, oh no, you're actually going in this deep, dark hole. And now Kate and maybe Sam might wind up making it onto the 7, even though I don't think that they're also going to show up until The Boys Gen V Season 2. Kate and Sam free all the Woods and start their rampage across campus. R.I.P. Bob and the other guards. The former captives from the Woods start killing everybody in sight, basically. They even have a Gangnam Style joke to show you how long one of the kids has been locked out there. That was back in 2012, meaning he's been trapped in the woods for over 10 years. As they're leaving, Sam starts seeing the hallucination of his brother, Golden Boy. It's not meant to be Kate using her powers on him. It's actually Sam viewing his own conscience, like it's his conscience talking to him. So it's basically like him talking to himself using his memory of his brother. It's like the manifestation of the moral core inside him, basically telling him what you're doing is wrong, like killing all these people is wrong. So really, he's just talking to himself here. At least until he has Kate basically turn that part of his mind off. Kate makes that last guard literally eat his own hands. He'll probably die from blood loss, so RIP. When they start killing the regular humans left and right, this one's powers seem like they're acid-based, kind of like he's melting her face off. Toad from the X-Men did have a corrosive acid that he could spit on people. Bonus for Rufus, though, he winds up surviving, but now his reaction video is going to do way more views, and that's like their whole thing. Like, they're all meant to be dirtbags doing anything it takes for more views on their social media accounts. Jeff, that weird social manager from the college, manages to kill the super with electric powers. She seems kind of like a Storm parody, but Kate winds up making him live stream his own death, like killing himself on live camera for the rest of the world to see. RIP, he was also a dirtbag, so not really sad to see him go. And notice when the security guard on campus who's monitoring all the security cameras refers to the escape supers as meth heads, that's the code word that Vought used, or the cover story that they use when stuff like that would happen. Like, just blame it all on people's drug addiction, say that they're going crazy, having mental breaks. This one is a teleporter. He seems like a Nightcrawler parody. There are a couple more funny moments at the drama school practice with the director character. There's a lot of him in this part of the episode too. One of the students is doing a monologue from the Dawn of the 7 movie. Obviously, it's a terrible monologue, like it sounds awful, because the movie itself is meant to be super schlocky. I think the actual speech that he's reciting is something that Homelander would have said during the movie. And apparently the director has a weird thing about his knuckles, even though he is super freaky with Ashley, which he jokes about later in the episode. He makes a Josh Hartnett joke, then says that it's okay that he does that because they're close personal friends, and barely gets saved by Emma showing up. Sam and Emma have their version of a breakup, and Sam gets even more radicalized, and he winds up dissing Emma so hard that she gets so upset it causes her to shrink Ant-Man and the Wasp style without having to throw up. So I think this is meant to be evolution of her powers, and she'll learn more about this during season 2, being able to grow really big and shrink really small without having to eat a bunch of stuff or throw up a bunch of stuff. Notice when she does this too, she's standing in the spotlight, kind of like she's giving a performance, just meant to flow with the whole joke here at the drama school about them giving performances. The director makes a bunch of jokes about revealing terrible, naughty things that he and Ashley did during a fundraiser event in the bathroom. It's probably just them doing it in the bathroom. That's what they did at the bathroom at the premiere of Dawn of the 7. They implied at the beginning of season 3 that the two of them just had this weird sex thing going on between the two of them. Whatever it was they did, it was crazy enough for Ashley to freak out and get them to open the door before he would say anything about it. This super uses a sonic scream, kind of like Banshee from the X-Men comics. When Laser Eyes super runs through frame killing someone, when that person dies, they use a Wilhelm scream, which is a trope of a lot of movies and TV shows, not just like superhero movies and TV shows, but all movies and TV shows. Once you start listening for it, like once you know what it is, you start hearing it all over the place. Then Ashley calls in Homelander as like the cavalry, so to speak, in their company helicopter. When Kate mind controls the super strong super to destroy the helicopter and Andre rescues it with his powers lowering it to the ground, it's kind of like a reverse X-Men Dark Phoenix Easter egg for Jean Grey's Phoenix character. During that movie, she does basically the same thing, but she's destroying the helicopter. Kate mind controls Maverick to attack Marie. He'd been pretty chill up to this point too, like actually trying to help them. Like I said, he seems like a pretty nice dude, despite all the kinks that he has. She uses her blood-bending ability to sense his presence, like sense his blood, so to speak, his central nervous system, and knock him out. And I think this is the first time we've actually seen him when she knocks him out, like it temporarily deactivates his powers to be invisible. They kind of did the same thing during The Boys Season 1 when Translucent was killed. Notice Jordan's able to soak the blast from the super when she changes to his male form, and Marie uses her power to slow down their heart temporarily and does a much bigger blood-bending dagger move to save the Vought executives. Even though the director says that he's going to put Marie in his next movie, remember she gets put in the deep dark hole, so Vought probably doesn't want her being in that next movie. You can let me know in the comments what you think the Dawn of the Seven 2 is going to wind up being. The first movie was kind of a parody of both the Justice League Snyder Cut and Avengers Endgame, so it's both like Marvel and DC parodies. Then she blows up Kate's hand to prevent her from controlling Jordan. That's gonna leave a mark. That'll carry into season 2. Remember though, if she still has that one hand that's good, she can still touch people and use her powers on everyone. Really though, it's not about the hand, it's more about the skin-to-skin contact, I think. So even if she lost both hands, as long as she touched her forearm to someone, it would still work. Then Homelander shows up in his cameo from the season. We all predicted he would show up eventually and basically shuts things down on a dime. Notice that when he lands right in front of his own statue. He's probably going to be pissed that they graffitied that. And he looks pissed that they bothered him at all. Like, why did you make me show up here? This sucks. I don't want to be here. He calls Marie an animal for attacking other supers and goes with that whole pro-super line, like, why are you attacking your own kind, getting pissed off at her, trying to laser and kill her, but it turns out she's powerful enough, her power enables her to survive the blast, just long enough for them to put her in that deep dark hole. They end the episode, like I said, with Cameron doing Vought's spin-on events, basically saying that they were the ones that went on the rampage, and Kate and Sam were the ones that tried to stop it, calling them the real Guardians of Godolkin. Basically preventing knowledge of the woods from getting out and made public. Then because it's the comic book property and post-credit scenes are big tropes of comic book movies and TV shows, they have a post-credit scene and it winds up being Butcher checking out the woods, confirming that Mallory was talking to him on the other side of her comms. He's still probably interested in that anti-superhero virus, but he doesn't know, or they don't know, that Victoria Newman got her hands on it. That'll continue during The Boys Season 4, like I said. Also, the whole concept of Homelander's trial that Victoria Newman teased during Episode 7. And just in general, the whole race for the presidency, Victoria Newman and Bobby Singer will probably win that race, superheroes getting in the White House, and it will just continue that storyline from the comics. They haven't really said when The Boys Season 4 is going to premiere next year. My guess is it'll be sometime, maybe around like March, maybe sometime early summer. It just depends on how long the strikes go. We probably won't get a Boys Season 4 official trailer until the strike is done. Maybe if that gets wrapped up in the next couple of weeks before the Thanksgiving holiday, as of me posting this video, we might see some kind of teaser trailer during December. Whatever they wind up releasing, of course I'll do videos for it. I've already done a couple Boys Season 4 teaser trailer videos. They've released a couple teasers, so I'll post links for that stuff in the description below. There's a bunch of big stuff happening this week too. We also have the Loki finale next week, so be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. And we have Invincible Season 2 episodes basically taking over for The Boys. I just did my Season 2 Episode 1 video. Click here for that, and click here for my full Loki Season 2 Episode 5 video. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.